Good morning. I'm the Reverend Ross Bliss, the Vicar of Christ Church Cathedral, Victoria, and I'm here today with the Reverend John Barton, a retired priest living in our diocese. And this is one of our cathedral check-ins, and this one's about our monthly outreach donation for the month of March, which happens to be the Primates World Relief Development Fund. Now, John, I understand that you actually worked with this fund for quite some time.
Yes, for 12 years in Toronto, yes.
I think that qualifies you to talk about it. Now, why don't we begin with the mission statement of the fund?
Yeah, the mission statement, well, I'll start with the vision statement.
Right.
The vision statement is a truly just, healthy, and peaceful world. And then with a few more specifics in it, the mission statement says the Primates Fund is an instrument of faith connecting Canadian Anglicans in dynamic partnerships with partners in other parts of the world to advance development, respond to emergencies, assist refugees, and act for positive change.
That really sums it up. And so to understand it, this is the International Fund of the Anglican Church of Canada.
Yes, it is the official fund. And we've often had trouble with the title Primates Fund, and people wonder what on earth we've actually had a contribution to the care of primates in the forests of East Africa, which was embarrassing. But yeah, it is the official fund of the Anglican Church of Canada, and one of which we can be very proud.
Indeed. Now, I also understand that it's particularly focused on meeting the needs of the people, as opposed to a predetermined project of some kind.
Yes, what we seek to do is be in partnership with many Anglican dioceses and organizations across the world, also other ecumenical partners and other faith partners, Muslim as well in cases in the Middle East. And the sort of key principle is that in working with these other partners, we seek that they determine what their needs are. So I've discovered that a key question in international development is whose needs are being met here. Is it the needs of the donor organization, or is it the needs of the people on the ground?
Right. And I imagine that is really aided and facilitated by all these partners you actually have on the ground through the Anglican Church and your ecumenical partners. So that must really facilitate this objective.
Oh, I think it does. And we now have a long history, really, of it, because the fund began in 1959. And so there's a vast amount of experience behind us now, and a substantial and very effective staff.
And the other thing to encourage people is that there are matching government funds that go along with this, right?
Yes, broadly speaking, in the last full reported financial year, the amount of government matching funds is about 1-to-1 overall. In some cases, the government doesn't fund some of the projects we do. In other cases, they might fund them 4-to-1 in the case of emergency in Yemen or something like that.
Right. So that it averages out to about 1-to-1.
Yes, about 1.
Which I think is a
real
dollar, incentive.
For every dollar you give, broadly speaking, the government provides another dollar. So it's very significant.
Which is terrific. John, could you give us some examples then of some projects in recent years to give folks some ideas?
I'll just give you a quick sort of scattershot view of things. The fund has provided support to the Al-Ali Arab Hospital in Israel of the Diocese of Jerusalem, which is especially working on providing clean and safe water to drink for people in Gaza. It's provided nutritional support and training for mothers with children with severe malnutrition in Burundi. It's provided support to an organization in Haiti, which is trying to prevent gender-based violence and educate and support that sort of work. In the Bahamas, it's responded to the devastation of Hurricane Dorian. In the case of what is now Bangladesh, there's been a substantial project with the Rohingya refugees from Myanmar, Burma, providing safe water and 1,000 sanitary latrines. Yemen, very important basic supply of food to 1,100 families over a several month period in a crisis situation.
That's a terrific snapshot. Thank you. And I guess finally, we're in a strange time now with literally a global pandemic. And I imagine this must have some impact on operations and timelines and all that sort of thing.
Yes, it certainly has. I think we've been very fortunate that the Primates Fund became the Global Affairs Canada's principal agent for a big program, multi-million-dollar program over 4 years called All Mothers and Children Count. Mm-hmm. And this was to improve food security, prevention of malaria, provide good antenatal and postnatal care, provide family planning in 4 countries in East Africa, Tanzania, Rwanda, Burundi, and Mozambique. And that is, they carefully check the data as to how conditions have improved over where they were 4 years ago. And there's been a remarkable improvement. I think it's of the order of about 300% in infant mortality. And that whole program is being in place, made it possible to build on that for what's needed for a pandemic response. And so, as with us, there's been a big emphasis on the use of clean water and soap, social distancing, masks, providing where possible, testing facilities to determine who is COVID-19 positive and so on. So the work we've done in the previous 4 years has provided the foundation for an effective response to the virus.
And that's a fantastic tie-in, isn't it? Yeah. That's wonderful.
Yeah, it really is.
Well, I want to thank you, John, for your time this morning and for sharing this with us. And thank everyone for tuning in. So once again, this is the Cathedral Check-In. And this was a bit of information about our monthly outreach donation for the month of March, which is the Primates World Relief Development Fund. So thanks very much, John, and thank you all for tuning in.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.